So before we get started, let's tell the people who we are.
Okay, I'll start. My name's Kristine, and I have a lot of fears. I worry about fires and tornadoes, earthquakes. I worry when I'm driving on a tall bridge that the bridge is going to collapse.
Oh my God,
I'm worried when I'm under a bridge that the bridge is going to collapse on top of me. When I'm driving, like, I know, I'm worried about my car getting trapped underwater.
Okay.
Like my car is going to fly off into a lake and then I'm going to sink, and I don't have one of those things to pop the window out.
Right.
So I'm going to drown. I worry a lot about tsunamis. Tell me about like your kind of.
Okay, I'm Danielle, and I am most worried that my son will die a virgin.
Ground is shaking under our feet, mountains on fire, flooding in the street. Can't breathe the air, can't fight the feeling. Gobbling down Xanax ain't the way to be dealing. Gotta do better than just getting high. We gotta stick together if we're gonna survive.
Today you're going to tell me about one of your major fears, right? Which is
wildfires
and how to survive wildfires.
I'm going to do my best.
Okay, I appreciate that.
I mean, I don't posit myself to be an expert, but I would say out of the two of us, I might know a little bit more.
Yeah, neither of us are experts on anything, by the way.
No. I want the audience to know you should not look at us go to the internet first before us.
Yeah. I mean, we just went to
That's where we went.
I mean,
so.
But hopefully we'll do it with a little more panache.
I think so.
I hope so.
We're going to entertain you.
Right.
That's our goal.
Right.
Speaking of wildfires and our fears, I went to your address to see where you are in the realm of danger because I worry about you. I don't just worry about you.
Okay, because I won't look any of this up.
I don't think you're going to. And anyone can do this if you just look up, do I live in a wildfire zone?
So you can look up if there are child molesters in your neighborhood, how close you are to wildfires.
Oh, yeah, you can.
All that stuff.
You can do that too. We'll do that on a different episode.
I'd rather
I'm
live
assuming
in ignorance,
that's coming up really soon.
Right.
And what I just did, you go to LA Times.
Yeah.
And look up if you're in a wildfire zone. And so I just wanted to let you know that because you're in an urban area, you're fine.
Okay.
There's a big major road. I don't think I should mention it because I don't want people to know where you live.
No, you don't have to mention it. But I live next. Okay. I live near a big major road. I think that doesn't narrow it down too much.
No,
right.
It's a really good named road. Let's just say that.
It is a good named road.
It's a really good name. It's one of my favorite names.
And I'm
not going to mention it. But you cross that road, it starts to turn red.
In many ways.
So don't cross that road.
Oh, don't ever cross that major road that's right next to my house, or you'll be fine.
And you won't be worried about fires.
Okay.
But I wanted to show you where I live.
Now, what about pot fires? Because I'm pretty sure I could be in the danger for a fire started by...
You might get really high.
A pot.
A pot? Are you high on pot right now?
I'm high on a pot. Okay, so now I'm looking at... This is where you live.
Where I live.
Okay.
This is my neighborhood.
It looks like...
So I'm showing the audience of two right now.
It looks like...
It's just blood. It's
just blood.
It's
red.
a bloodbath. So this might explain why I have a little anxiety.
So I'm assuming...
It's flames.
You live in a national forest. Is that the idea?
I mean... We did just hang an owl box.
A what?
An owl box at my house.
What's an owl box?
It's to attract owls.
And why do you want to attract owls?
To get rid of the rats. Because we live in a mountain.
So you live in a rodent-infested tinderbox.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm living the dream, guys.
Okay.
That's what happens. You get out of the city and here's the irony.
Yeah.
We moved to the zip code that has one of the cleanest air of Los Angeles.
Nice.
However, at any moment, you might burn alive.
And how clean is the air when thousands of acres are burning?
Well, that's the thing.
Okay. And what happens to the owl once the fire starts?
I'm going to jump on its back and fly away.
That is such a good plan.
Right?
So you can't find that on the internet.
See, That's
okay.
You know how I'm
You need to find a hardy owl.
Okay, so I want to ask you some questions, Danielle.
Yes.
How are you prepared right now?
For a fire?
Yeah.
Not at all.
Nothing.
No.
Nothing in your house, nothing.
I mean, I have flashlights and I have water.
Do you have a extinguisher, perhaps?
Yes.
Okay. So
Do I know how to work it? No.
That's okay. I mean, nobody does really know how to use a fire extinguisher, right?
She'll have time to read the directions when
the time comes. You're going to have like 10 minutes at least. When the flames,
I'll have to find my glasses.
Just so you know, flames move really slow.
Okay. So you're already teaching me, Chris.
California flames move really slow. Okay, so
because they're laid back.
They're very chill. They're like the hang 10 surfer kind of flames in California. All right, I'm going to give you some facts.
Okay.
The first website I went to, BTW, chub.com.
Chub.com. Wait, what?
I know.
Wait, is this about...
It's not porn.
Is it about, like, chubby chasers?
I don't know, but it gave me information about how to be safe in a wildfire in your house.
Oh, BTW, you're saying, by the way. I thought you were saying it was called BTWchub.com. And I was like, this is clearly some subset of sexual kink that I'm just going to learn about along with wildfires. Okay. Okay. I was like, black, thin women? I don't know. BTW. Okay.
Oh my God.
Got it.
I'm having so much fun. I when I hear chub, I think of like a little
baby boner.
Yes. Okay. I thought so too. Like
right?
a half boner.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't mean a baby's boner.
No.
That's a different website.
Yeah. I've never been to that website. Let's just make that clear for the listening audience. I've never been to babyboner.com.
Not yet.
Nope. I don't want that in my search history.
No.
I think we just got on a list.
Finally, I'm on a list. I don't even care.
I don't care either.
I've been wanting to be on someone's list for something.
Who knew it was going to be for babyboners.com?
Short list. Short and chubby list.
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm getting off the track. Okay.
I like this track, but I don't know how far we should go down on it.
Well, I don't know how to survive a fire yet. So.
Okay.
Okay.
So, all right. I mean, this is the fires. There's a fire.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You're at your house.
Sure.
And you see a fire.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on what you should do?
Oh my God. You're saying I see a fire come down the street.
There's a fire, like...
Get in the bathtub.
It's not...
I don't know. Is that the answer for everything? Get in the bathtub, I think.
I mean, that's not a bad idea. Okay. The first thing you do, evacuate when the emergency officials tell you to.
Okay. I can follow directions.
Right?
I'm good at that.
There's a lot, there's that guy on the news always, that guy's name's like Cletus.
Yeah.
And he's like, I ain't leaving.
Right. Don't be him.
Don't be Cletus.
Don't be Cletus.
All right. Number 2, shut off the gas, turn off propane at the tank, and turn off all your pilot lights.
Do you think I know how to do any of that?
I know. This is same. This is where I'm going to die.
My husband would, but if my husband's not home, I'm screwed.
Yeah. Okay. So leave on all your lights.
Okay, I can do that.
Why? Okay. So the rescuers can see your house.
Okay.
At this point, I think you're not in your house anymore. You're not like staying in your house with all the lights on.
I've turned off the gas and I've turned on the lights.
Yes.
Got it. Smart.
Here's some other stuff I wouldn't have known to do. Move your furniture away from your windows and doors. Take your curtains down. This I thought was fun. Because they're flammable. I think this is when the fire's like, you've heard about the fire. Like on the news.
Okay.
But you apparently have like a lot of time.
I have a lot of time.
Because this is also
feng shui my...
You're doing a lot of redecorating.
Yeah. Okay.
Take your curtains down. Put up mini blinds.
Okay.
From blinds.com. They're 50% off right now. By the way, that's our sponsor.
Yeah. Do they ship within 20 seconds?
They ship within 4 hours. You have 4 hours.
All right. Put up mini blinds because, come on, it's the 21st century.
Yes. Who has curtains?
Right. We did up until very recently.
I have curtains in my bedroom, but they're linen.
Well, get them off of your...
I know.
Okay, because
my house is probably on fire right now.
But I mean, are they only flammable if they're hung up? What are you supposed to do? I mean, if you take them down, they're still flammable. What are you supposed to do with them?
You set them on fire ahead of time.
Right. Okay.
Here's another one that I think is fun.
Okay.
Rake dead leaves away from home and clear roof of pine needles.
my God, I'm supposed to get on my roof at this point.
Get up on your roof.
I mean, I get it. If you're in an area you live in, you can do this.
Yeah, but also, who in LA is doing their own gardening?
I don't know.
Call your gardener.
I don't know.
Text your gardener.
Right. Tell them to come in the middle of a fire.
Yeah, see if they're available.
I don't think my gardener does roofs.
Mine doesn't either.
No. Okay. So get pine needles off of your roof. Okay. All right.
Fill buckets of water around the house.
Okay. And what is that for?
So the firefighters can take them and, like, I guess they don't have enough big hoses. They just
They
pick
just
up buttons and splash.
Like they're having a water fight? Like just
That's
bucket
just
by
for
bucket?
them to cool their hands down.
After they're burned to a cinch.
Yeah.
Or maybe after they get out of the fire, they run outside, put their tushy in the
Yes.
bucket of water like a cartoon, and
It's
then little
Looney Tunes.
sizzle things come up. Right. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Now I understand.
And wet down your house and surrounding bushes with a hose.
Okay. That I knew. I
That
knew
makes
the wet
sense,
down
right?
your house.
Wet
That
down your
makes
house.
sense. Yeah.
Mine's all wood. My house is also made of wood.
Holy moly.
This is maybe my first and last podcast episode because, guys, I'm going to die in a fire.
Apparently, because you have a lot of, I mean, if you have 12 buckets and you have, the presence of mind to do all this stuff, I understand that people are given fire warnings. And yes, you could do some of this. So it's not completely insane.
Not, but
I understand.
It also seems like you should just probably leave. Yeah. And make sure your evacuation kit is packed and ready.
Okay.
If you have one. If you don't, you should get
I don't.
one.
But, oh no, we have an earthquake kit.
Just take that.
So just take that. I'm sure it's the same.
The backpack or the bucket.
You need
kit.
you need the same things to survive.
Yes.
No matter what takes you out of your house.
Yeah.
Right?
I think so. All
right.
They're all similar.
Right.
So there you go. That's how you're going to live and survive. Okay.
That was actually helpful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Because I understand now. Like, you have time. It's a warning. It's not like an earthquake where it happens, instantaneously.
Right. It's not like poof.
Poof, there's a fire. Right.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if you're in your house and something's on fire, I would say just
Well,
call
that's a
911
different
and
situation,
get
I
out.
suppose. Yeah.
You're not going to just start filling buckets around your
Right.
house.
There's a fire in the kitchen. Don't go to the living room and take down your curtains.
Yes. If you're listening to this.
Unless you use them. I always like in movies where they take like a coat or something and they just like smother the fire with
Yes.
the coat. They just whip it until it dies.
Yes.
I don't think that would work in real life, but I'm always impressed by that.
I don't think
to
it
me,
does.
It just seems like it would catch on fire.
I just saw, this is a little digression, but have you started watching The Chair?
No, I don't
The
know
show
what
The
that
Chair
is.
with I think you'd like it.
Okay.
But there's a scene where a woman starts throwing all of her performance reviews in a garbage can. She lights them on fire because she's like, I'm not reading these.
Okay.
And then she sets this big fire in the trash can.
Okay.
And is terrified of the fire she set, so she throws like a sweater over top of it, and
Right.
it goes out, and she's like, oh.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
what I'm
suddenly the
talking about.
fire just bursts through the
Oh, that's funny.
sweater. Like,
okay,
that
that's what
seems
would
more
happen to me.
likely.
Yeah.
What would happen?
Oh, what is this on The Chair? What is
It's on Hulu.
Hulu.
Sandra Oh is the star.
Oh, I'm not a fan.
Really?
I'm
You
not.
didn't like Killing Eve?
I have not seen Killing Eve because I'm not a fan of Sandra.
You know what?
Oh.
Maybe if you watch Killing Eve, you would
No,
be.
I know. Everyone's told me that, and it's not fair. I'm just basing it on that Grey's Anatomy.
Oh,
Which is not
You
a-
should give her another chance.
I will. You know what? It's not fair.
Maybe start with The Chair.
But it's good. You're saying it's.
I like it.
It's worthy.
It's fun.
Okay. I'm watching Stylish
I
with
don't know.
Jenna Lyons. It's a reality show that I think you would like.
I don't know it.
She's just like a boss. She worked at J. Crew for a million years.
Oh yeah, she has the glasses.
You know her.
and-
Yeah. I didn't know anything about her. And then she's going to start a new business. So it's part like competition show because these people are competing to be her, employees. But she's actually not a tyrant, which is nice to see a boss who's like, she's a perfectionist and she's like, but she's kind and like, she's a normal person.
Okay.
And she came from like, feeling ugly her whole life. And anyway, it's interesting. I like it.
What's it on?
HBO.
What about? Have you seen 9 Perfect Strangers?
I keep trying to get my husband to watch it with me, and he is too sleepy at night and wants to watch Murder, She Wrote by himself.
Murder, She
I'm
Wrote.
not fucking kidding. This is, I'm like, can we just watch? So I watched White Lotus all by myself because I can't depend on him.
Well, I really need you to watch it because I need you to tell me if it's good or terrible.
Well, because you can't tell.
I can't tell. It's one of those
I have
because
shows like that.
It's so high prestige level.
Yes.
It's huge stars.
think-
It's Nicole
I
Kidman with
know.
a Russian accent and a very strange wig. And
That's my favorite.
I mean, I love her.
I love
She's
her, but she
insane.
can't do accents. And
But the Russian accent is like, what are you doing?
I put on Twitter, I'm like, can we just make one of her characters Australian, just for
Yeah,
her
just let
sake
her
and
be
our
her
sake?
voice.
And then someone on Twitter accused me of being cruel.
Oh, shut the
I'm
fuck
like,
up.
oh my God, you have no idea. Anyway,
You haven't met me.
I mean, for real.
On Twitter, I'm so nice.
Okay, so how to survive
Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman is
Okay.
our next topic.
Yes, her accents. Okay, we're gonna move on.
Yeah.
You're in your car,
Okay.
and there's a fire.
In my car?
Well, hopefully not. Don't
Oh.
smoke in your car.
Okay.
Don't smoke. I mean,
No.
if you haven't quit by now, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Everything.
So, this is not as fun.
Was the other part fun? Filling up 12 buckets of... I just made up the 12 and then I'm sticking with it. Okay.
It was 12 buckets of fun.
Well, the other one involved redecorating your house, and that's kind of fun.
Yeah, you
Okay.
got to get mini blinds and a good sale.
Exactly.
So, okay. So I got this information not from Chubbs.com.
Okay.
But Washington Post. And
I've heard of them.
Daniel Berlant, if I'm saying his name correctly, he is a bigwig at the California Department of Forestry and Fire.
Okay.
Says many people get out of their cars, especially at the last moment, because of movies.
Oh.
Where the car always explodes, like and
Right.
it flies in the air.
Right.
And he says that's not the reality. So he's saying to people, don't do that.
Okay.
He says, well, first of all, you should just always have your ID, your phone, and your medications with you. And I'm
Okay.
like, but that's a lot of medication. Right?
Well, I guess it depends on who you are.
For me.
But yeah. I mean, okay, so what they're saying is if there's a fire in your house and you're leaving at this point, what do you do?
I think he's saying if you've left your house and you to
Okay,
take that
that's
stuff
smart.
with
Take
you.
your I mean, I
Yeah.
always have my ID in my phone. I mean,
Yeah, I always have water, a giant jug of water with me
right.
usually.
Okay, so by the way, I can't stand in movies or TVs where people take medication and they don't drink water with it.
People do that?
All the time.
Oh, where they take it and they chew it up? Have
No,
you seen that?
that would be fine. It's the swallowing dry. And I'm like, are you just like a superior form of human
can do
being
that?
that you can do that without water? It drives me insane. It drives me fucking
I don't know
insane.
if I've seen this, but I
You've
don't
seen
care
it.
for
You've seen it, trust
Okay,
me. Because
I
they
don't
do it
like
all the time. And it drives me crazy. Okay, so, and bring your medications with you. That's smart.
Yeah.
Got it.
Obviously, in your children. He didn't mention that, but I think you should take your children.
Yeah. I mean, well, if you don't take your children, you might not need the medication.
That's true.
Or you might need
A lot
more medication. Okay.
Depends.
It depends on who has the children.
Someone should take them.
Okay.
Wool blanket. Wool is preferable because it doesn't ignite as easily. You might need it, to cover yourself or...
Oh, because synthetic... Wait a second. I thought it would be the opposite because, fireproof pajamas are made out of, aren't they made out of synthetic material?
Well, synthetic materials
because of the chemicals.
melt really fast.
Oh,
and
they'll
you don't-
melt on your
so
body.
They'll melt on your body. So they want you to have wool. And
No.
hopefully that never happens.
I mean, is that to say a sheep won't catch on fire? It seems to me a sheep would easily catch on fire. But you're saying wool is not easily
It's not as flammable. It
And
still could.
Okay.
But
it's not going to melt.
It's not going to melt
on your body.
and it's not going to melt on your body.
Okay.
So always have a backup route
I'm
in
just
mind.
picturing you...
Route?
Root.
Right?
I don't know, but I'm picturing you running in a field with a sheep over your shoulders. A live
My
sheep.
shoulders are not strong enough. Are you kidding me?
No?
I mean, they would be. They would be.
They would
if
be.
they had to be, I
think you could.
I'd haul that sheep
Yeah.
over my shoulders.
Okay.
Okay. So this sounds important.
Yeah.
Roll up your windows, turn on the AC to recirculate the air, and close or block air vents.
So how do you get air circulating if the vents... I get the vents being
Yeah.
closed because you don't want outside air. But then
How's the AC
why do you have the AC
recirculating?
on? Huh.
I think it has something to do with you don't want to pull in new smoke,
Sure, that makes sense.
but you still want to have, you want to keep your air inside the car as clean as possible.
Okay, so some air is supposedly getting out even though the vents are closed.
I guess
I don't know.
that sentence is kind of confusing, right?
Yeah.
I apologize.
But that makes sense. Close your windows, close your vents, don't choke on the
Cover your
smoke.
face. And it says don't wet the fabric because steam can burn your... I don't know why you'd wet it, but the thing is we all have masks now in our car.
We do all have
Everyone has
masks
masks.
now. Yeah.
I think you would rather have, if you can, to keep some N95s because those I read are the best
Yeah.
for keeping smoke out. as opposed
Yeah.
to like your whatever fabric masks
Right.
everybody wears. But like the N95s are particularly good at keeping smoke particles out.
Okay, that's
So
good.
keep a pack of those.
So
in your
we're
car.
more prepared now than we normally would be.
Normally, yeah.
So yay, coronavirus.
yeah, you know what? There's
Finally
the
an upside.
silver lining
Right?
around COVID. If you see flames approaching your vehicle, try to park where there is no debris, brush, trees, etc.
Okay.
So, like a clearing, a rocky area, parking lot, or just the roadway.
Yeah, I was thinking a parking lot. So you, near your house, I mean, I've been to your house
Yeah.
and it's gorgeous and lovely and it is sort of up in a hilly area.
Mm-hmm.
So how quickly can you get to a parking lot, say? 5 minutes? Less than 5 minutes? Or is it more?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah.
Okay. Have you done these like things with your family?
We have been packed up for evacuation
Oh, that's right. You were.
more than once, I think. Yeah.
And do you stay packed or do you
And we've
unpack?
had like we park our cars always facing out the driveway. We have
You do. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You really think about it. That makes sense.
Just because we've had so many
Sure.
times where it's like, well, we can see fire.
Wow.
We can see and where we've watched because I follow these different fire warning systems on Twitter and I get alerts
Okay.
that'll say like the line is almost crossing for us into where we should evacuate. Does that make sense? Where
Wow.
it's like
Yeah.
2 streets away. And so I've been sort of used to it, I guess, getting prepared. Oh yeah.
Okay. So that's what to do in a car.
Yeah. Okay. So if the flames are going to come to the car, and you found a place to park, leave the engine running. Get as low in the car as possible, below the windows, because
Okay.
the radiant heat. And here's the final
Oh.
piece of advice:
Okay.
try to remain calm.
As you're hovering on
Yeah.
the ground with your children and your pets and your husband and your pills, try to remain
Yes.
calm.
Because the flames,
As the fires
there's
lick
a
your
wall of
face.
fire
Yeah. Okay.
passing over your car.
Sure. But don't get out of the fire. Don't get out of the car is the main takeaway.
Don't
from
get out of
that.
the car.
And stay low because the heat radiates through the windows.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I like that.
So stay
actually.
below it.
This is very helpful. Yeah.
That's what you do.
Okay. I mean, I guess it helps if you have a bigger car where there's
And also, yeah, buy a utility van.
buy a utility van in this situation. Yeah. Okay.
Trade in your Prius,
Right.
for a giant
Right.
gas guzzling.
Oh, but that's gas also.
Yeah.
Is that? No, that's not.
Well, they're saying your car isn't going to explode.
okay.
I guess.
So that's just movie stuff.
It's movie
It's not
stuff.
true. Okay. I'm learning a lot.
All right. Now, here's your least ideal scenario. Okay.
Okay.
You're on foot.
Whew.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I went to LAist. This is information basically about hiking because I figure no one really in LA is going to be on foot and trapped in a fire unless they're hiking.
Yeah, that's a good
like,
point.
who's walking?
Who's walking in a fire area?
Yeah, in
Right.
LA.
Okay.
If you're walking, you're at like you're going into Jones on 3rd to get a salad. You know, and you're
the most elitist comment you've ever made. I
know.
Oh my god. Okay,
been
if
there
you're
and, like-
walking, you're going into the world's most expensive deli,
and you're going to run into 15 celebrities.
right? And pretend not to care.
But you're parked close. I mean, you're not.
No,
you're, You're on a hike.
Sure.
Okay, so number one,
Yeah.
find a safe spot. It's kind of like the car. You want to find
An open area.
an open area. What I think is funny is they suggest a green meadow.
You know what?
I'm like, good luck finding a
Finding
green,
a green meadow. Oh my god, that's the meadow you're running across with a deer on your shoulders. I mean,
thought it
that's
was a
not a
sheep.
deer. What happened? It became a deer because it's a meadow.
Yes.
So now it's a deer.
But you really must think my shoulders are strong
I think they are.
Whoa.
You're very
impressed.
very
with me.
fit.
I guess.
Yeah.
In your fantasy of me, I am such a badass.
And you have a deer keeping you warm and not a flame. Okay, so you're running into
I'm
a meadow.
glad I'm running this safety show.
Yeah. So you're finding a meadow.
Finding a meadow. Again, like anything that's flat doesn't have vegetation. Okay. So you can run to a safe spot
Yeah.
if I'm going to throw some math at you.
Okay.
If it's less than 100 feet away,
Oh, Jesus.
if you're capable of running. Okay. Not everyone can run. You know, they have
I
a
can
leg
run,
injury.
but I don't. Well, if you're hiking presumably you can run. But
run.
I can't judge distances. I don't know what 100 feet is to 100 yards.
Some people do though. Let's
Yes.
assume our listeners
Sure. Okay.
know 100 feet.
Okay.
And it also says, don't ever run uphill to a safe spot unless it's less than 20 feet away.
Now, why is that?
Because a fire moves faster uphill.
Oh my God! Like you're being chased by a fire, so
Yeah,
it's like a
this
horror
is a
movie.
horror movie.
It is a horror movie. Okay.
Of flames.
So don't. Okay, so hold back.
Yeah. So if you can get to the safe spot.
Yeah. This is like Tremors. Like
Yeah.
I'm just picturing Michael Gross running up a hill, but
Yeah.
oh no, the fire's coming, so run back down the hill. Like it's just like a game of.
We should pitch this.
I think we should, but it's Michael Gross contingent. He's the only one who can be in it.
We can get him.
I think so.
He's available.
Yeah.
All right. Hunker down.
Okay.
Okay. So you don't have a safe spot, let's say.
Okay. I haven't found a meadow or
Or maybe you have, but like this is what you do in your safe spot.
Okay.
Anyway, you're looking for a big tree, a boulder, a downed log, and get behind it. And
Wait, I thought you were trying to get clear of vegetation.
this is when you can't.
Okay.
So this is when you're like,
Okay,
well,
worse,
this is the
worse.
best I can
Okay.
do. So I'm going
get
to find
behind a tree.
a big thing
Okay.
that is maybe going to be like giving me some protection.
But trees are highly flammable, no?
Maybe find the big tree that isn't.
Okay. Find the big tree made of wool.
Or just stacked with sheep.
That would be the cutest tree ever.
It would be
so cute.
Snuggle that tree. Find one of those trees that like hipsters have knitted around.
That actually happens in my neighborhood.
I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah, but not by a hipster, like an older black lady in her 60s.
I love her.
Not old, but you know what I mean. Like that's
Gets younger and younger.
funny how that happens. Yeah, she does it near our park.
Well, I like her.
Yeah. Okay,
right.
so find a knitted. I think that's not impossible.
No, find
Okay.
a knitted tree. In your neighborhood, you can
Big
find
knitted
this.
tree.
Yeah.
Stay behind it. Yeah.
Look for a small depression in the ground or make one yourself. So
Okay,
dig a little
digging.
hole, stick your face in the hole.
You know I can find a small depression anywhere I go.
I'm in one right now.
or create one myself.
Small. I wish it was small.
How did this depression get so deep
Wah, wah.
and unmanageable?
Find a pocket of cool air.
Okay, this is like science shit now. This is like,
I'm
how is
telling
anyone
you.
going to think of all this?
They're just saying words because you're really just going to burn to a crisp.
Just shit your pants.
Shit your pants.
In a cool,
Take the
shallow.
shit, pack it on your face to keep your face
You know
from
what?
burning.
That's actually not a bad idea.
I know, right?
I mean, if you could find cool mud, I'm sure that'd be a better idea.
Yeah.
Does it say anything
you're
about
gonna
that?
shit your pants anyway.
Right. Use it. Okay. So gross.
If, like most hikers, you're wearing synthetic clothing, it may melt in the heat and fuse to your skin. Okay, so this is where the experts disagree.
Okay.
One says
Ooh,
put on
controversy.
all your synthetic clothes to give you protection. The other person, because I'm not sure if it was a man or a woman, says take them all off.
Okay. Put on all your clothes, but if they melt, why would you put them all on?
I think to add more layers between you and the fire.
Jesus. So the question really is, do you want melted running wear on your body? Is it better to have melting fabric on your body or to be burned? I mean, can
Yeah.
you get melting fabric off your body? Does it act as its own skin graft?
I mean, I don't know. This is something do we have a burn doctor we can get on the line?
Not right at this
Like a
moment, but
profession-
maybe it comes with the blinds. If we order some blinds, we can get a burn
Oh,
doctor.
good point.
So stupid. But I'm trying to think.
I feel like I would probably
Prefer. What do you think? What everyone was going to say the same thing.
I would probably keep my clothes on.
Yeah, I'd keep my clothes on because I think
I feel like I'd
you're
be like,
right.
they're
Any
going to protect. I
protection-
feel like that was
Yeah.
somehow like even if it was psychological, I would feel like somehow the clothes would somehow
Yeah.
protect me.
I don't think you want to take off. I think you want to create as many layers between you and fire as possible.
But-
Even if you're going to have a Nike swoosh
Forever
become part of your a tattoo.
It's like a Nexium.
Yes, right above your crotch. Yes,
You're in the Nike cult now forever. Okay, so if you think that was insane,
I do.
Here's some more insane advice.
Okay.
Consider burning out a spot to make your own safe zone.
What?
So if you're in an open area with some tall dead grass, like much of coastal Southern California in the late summer and fall, consider lighting a fire to burn the vegetation in advance of the wildfire passing through. Make sure you have enough time to start a fire, then let it burn an area large enough for you to lay down in. Then before the wildfire arrives, get inside the burned out area and follow the suggestions for hunkering down.
I'm so flabbergasted at this point because,
right?
first of all, they're telling you to commit arson. I get the principle, like how but
also
they
that
do
you would
controlled
have,
burns
you
in
have,
the forest, right?
I think only like Bear Grylls could do this.
Who? Bear Grylls. I thought you said Bear Girls.
And Bear Girls.
But I get it. Bear
I want to
Grylls.
be in that club.
Yes. I think you'd have to be some sort of expert who isn't reading tips on the internet. And I mean, how do you control it at that point? So you're supposed to like set a ring of fire, blow it out, and then hop into it? I mean, I don't. That seems so.
How do you put the fire out?
And then how do you
just said?
explain to someone? You added, 1,000 acres of burn to this fire, and you're like, well, I read on the internet you're supposed to start a fire.
Yeah, this expert told me on a podcast.
I mean, that's like there are bees coming at you when you slather honey on yourself. Like, I don't understand. Okay, I mean, I do get it in theory. I just don't really.
No, it seems idiotic. Idiotic?
Yeah, what is idiotic?
It's more idiotic. It's
Idioticist?
It's the worst kind of idiotic.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said it that way, but tell us what's happening next.
What's happening next is we have talked about how to survive a fire, and next we're going to talk about how to survive getting fired.
Ooh, I can't wait for that.
Have you been fired, Chris?
Yes.
Okay, I've been fired a few times, and what I usually do is just how to survive it is I just sob uncontrollably.
Oh, that's a really effective tactic.
Even if it's a job I don't want, which is usually what happens. So what happened was I was working on an animated show. I was on staff as a writer, and it was a little bit of a nightmare. Like, you've written on TV shows before,
yes.
and maybe this happens in every industry where you can kind of feel things falling apart all around you, and you're like, oh, this isn't working. People are getting mad and grumpy. And the head writer first of all, she told me before she told the person she was going to fire before me, she said, oh, I'm going to fire so-and-so. And I'm like, the person I shared an office with, who I came to like as a friend, who was a lot younger than me. And I felt like, why did you give me this information?
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do with this? This is the same woman, this boss, who my son was quite young at the time, and she said something about doing her son's homework for him. And I was like, what? You do your son's homework? And she was like, you will too. Just wait. When your son gets older, you'll do his homework for him too. And I was like, I can't imagine any scenario in that one in which that would take place. And then I said, my parents didn't do my homework for me. And she said, well, that's because they didn't love you.
What?
Yes.
Okay, so she's a broken person.
I'm just giving you an idea that she's absurd.
But you do, Jamie. I mean, you do Ollie's homework for him, right?
First of all, his name is not Ollie.
Why did I call him Ollie?
I don't know. The only person who's ever called him Ollie is a baseball coach he had.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oliver.
well, I always call him Ollie, but I won't do it anymore.
No, it's okay. It's sweet. No, I couldn't do his homework. I mean, I wouldn't. No, I never ended up doing his homework. It was such a ludicrous thing to say. Even if a kid needed help, you wouldn't do it for them.
No, it's ridiculous.
I'm just giving you an idea of what kind of woman this is. So, anyway, so she fired this other woman. At one point, she told me there are only 3 of us writers left. 3 writers on a staff. I'm the only one who gets the show. Okay, that's a nice compliment.
Yeah.
I'm the only one who gets the show.
Yeah.
2 months later, shit's hitting the fan. The show's falling apart. And I get a call from my agent. I had an agent at the time telling me that I was fired.
Were you at work at the time?
At work.
Oh, God.
And I was like, I don't understand why she didn't just tell me directly. Like, what kind of bullshit is this? I've never, this is so strange to me. So I'm just fuming. And I tell the other 2 writers, I'm like, I'm fired. And they're like, what? Because there were only 2 other writers. And they were in shock. Although maybe they weren't. Maybe she told them.
Yeah,
She had told me about
I'm
this
about
other
to
woman.
fire her.
So, anyway, so then I'm trying to find her so she can fire me.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to find this woman.
Oh, God.
I'm literally like
Yeah.
hunting her down and I can't find her. And I'm told she's in a meeting. So I went into.
She's hiding from
Well,
you.
I went into some woman's office who I guess was like the HR person or something. And I was like, where is so-and-so? And she's like, she's in a meeting. I'm like, well, could you get her out of the meeting? Because she needs to fire me. Because I was like, I know I have to leave and do it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to just slink away. So I think I interrupted the meeting. I think
for
I just
you.
walked in and
Good
I was like,
for
I guess
you.
you need to talk to me, huh? I guess you fired me. And she was like, okay. So she gets out of the meeting. She comes in and she goes, I know this is out of left field or something. And I said, well, I kind of thought maybe something was up when you would have writers meetings with the other two writers and not include me. This is really what happened. And I was in myself in an office and the other two guys were in an office next to me. So they shared an office and I was by myself.
Yeah.
She said, yeah, it's really weird, but sometimes I would walk by your office and because the computer is higher than you, I wouldn't know if you were in the office.
That's insane.
The office door was open. She literally just had to say my name.
So she just didn't see your head.
Because I'm short, I wasn't invited to writers' meetings.
Yeah.
I mean, that was her premise. So anyway, it was a bunch of crap and 2 months later she was fired. So I mean, if that gives you any indication what happened with the show. But I was a scapegoat and it happens. So I didn't have any witty comebacks. I didn't have anything to say because I was so shocked and so hurt. Even though I had considered quitting, I'm a human being and I'm sensitive and
Yes, of
I don't
course.
like to be told I'm not good at anything. Who does? So
No, it hurts.
So I sobbed
Aw.
as I'm packing up. And then, so what happened was, cut to a couple of years in the future, and I'm on another animated show that is also falling apart. Maybe it's
Okay.
me. Maybe I make these shows fall apart.
No.
But they were cleaning house.
Okay.
And again, there were only 3 of us staff writers, me and like 2 infants. And I mean, literally it was their first writing job. And one, it was their second writing job. So I got the picture that day, like, oh, they fired the creator of the show. Like, it was just a mess. So I'm armed. Now I'm like, oh, it's vengeance. I'm taking it out on.
I've got all my witty comebacks ready.
Right. So I'm not saying anything was witty, but I did go up. I was like, they were calling us up one by one to tell us whether or not we were fired. And as I passed the other female writer, she told me she was staying. And I was like, what? So I had that in my head as I went in. So she told me that this woman, executive was like, we're letting you go. And I was like, wow, is that a mistake? It's like, I am the person with the most experience on the show and the only person who gets it.
Yeah.
And, I'm not saying it was a great, like, epic moment, but for me, it was
Good
like,
for you, though.
Well, it was like revenge
You
on
stood
the
up for
previous.
yourself.
Yeah. So I was just like,
You told her and her.
and the previous woman, right. I was just like, you're making a mistake and you fired, the heart and soul of the show. Not meaning me, but the creator of the show.
Yeah.
And like, you are just unfair and like, good luck, basically. And I just like grabbed my stuff. And so I didn't cry over that one. So, but my normal advice is just to cry because that's how I survive most firings and most things.
I think crying is really good advice.
I don't like crying in front. I mean, at work, it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Especially it's like the other 2 writers are men and they're like, once again, much younger than me. And it's just like, you want to keep your cool and it's just so hard. It's just like, oh.
Men should cry more.
I know.
I think if men cried more, we would have less wars.
I bet these 2 men cried. They're kind of, I don't know about that actually. But I had to go back a week later to turn in my credentials. That's the worst when you're in the building. And you're like,
Oh, yeah.
holy
Dropping off your
shit.
stuff.
Oh, it was awful.
Here's my parking pass.
Yeah. And it was Disney. So at the time we had Disney. That was the best part of the job was that we had passes to Disneyland.
Yeah.
So I was like, guess who's going to Disneyland this weekend? I'm like, everybody on board.
I'm taking 72 of my relatives.
Right. So yeah, that was the first job was the Disney one. Yeah. So anyway, we are going to have a guest on,
I'm so excited.
a friend of both of ours.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show who's very funny, and she's going to tell us about how she dealt with being fired. So that's up next. Come back for more How to Survive.
I can't wait. Welcome back, everybody, to How to Survive. So now we know Danielle's way of dealing with being fired is to cry. We've got
Controllably. Yes.
Alexander here, our very dear friend. You may have seen her on the finale of Hacks. She's a
Yeah.
very talented comedian.
She shows up on your TV a lot.
She's hilarious. We love her. Welcome, Alex.
Thank you. I do have to qualify that I'm not a comedian and I'm a comedic actress. I just don't want
Right.
to insult any of the comedians here in the room or listening because that's a talent I am not particularly.
Alex and I
skilled
have
at.
been friends since the dawn of time.
Correct.
We started in shitty improv theater together and then did a good sketch theater together, although she was in a different group than I am because she's much more talented as an actress.
Well, I am several years older than you, so
Just a couple. Well, it gets, the difference in our ages decreases every year.
Right, so we could now work
Right.
together on the same level. That's what I'm getting
Right.
at. Right.
So, Alex.
Yes.
You have a story about being fired. So walk us
speaking
through
of
it.
this
Yeah.
shitty improv group that we were in together, prior to that, I was in other shitty groups.
Okay.
And I literally on the way here was like, how much can I say without getting these two girls sued? Right. I'm like,
Us two
Oh,
girls?
we're already on a list.
You're already in
Yeah.
litigation?
Yeah.
Okay, so because I'm like, should I say the actual name of the group and the actual names of the people? Although their last names I don't remember. so-
No, I think first names is fine. The group doesn't exist anymore, right?
No.
You're fine.
Okay. So prior to, I was in a good group called Swivit, which was all girls.
I remember.
And I was the worst improviser in it because I'm not really an improv girl. And then I was in this sketch comedy troupe right before joining LA Connection, which is where we were.
Yeah.
Called JKLA, which stands for Just Kidding, Los Angeles.
Now would I've got to okay. So in the
I meant to wear the T-shirt. I still
Okay, so
have
that's
a
what I was
T-shirt.
going to say. In the T-shirt or the flyer or the whatever, would it explain what JKLA
It would say
means?
JKLA, just kidding, with a little LA at the end.
Just
So
kidding,
it
LA.
was just
JKLA
kidding.
stands for Just Kidding, LA.
Just
Couldn't
kidding,
even write out
Los
Los Angeles.
Angeles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love it.
Apparently, they were hoping they would get JK something else down the line. Just kidding, Louise.
Oh, I see.
Oh,
Doesn't
yeah.
really
Pretty
work,
chain.
though, without just
it-
JKNYC. It doesn't. JKLA rhymes.
Yeah.
That's the only advantage, really, of the name.
Well, it didn't go anywhere else. They didn't have that. Didn't have to deal with
so sad
that.
we didn't
Hey,
get-
how do we make it rhyme?
Gary, Indiana.
It would be JKIA, right? Is Indiana IA?
Yeah.
Or is that Iowa? Anyway,
don't know.
So you had to audition for this group and I went to audition and there were lines of people auditioning to get into this
Wow.
thing. And so you had to bring an original piece and then they gave you a piece that you had to learn
Okay.
and do in this audition. And then you had to do it in improv. It was a pretty long
This
day.
is like SNL level.
Yeah.
Almost, yeah.
So just back up for 1 second.
Sure.
Is this a thing where it's 5 schmucks in an apartment building who decided that they're JKALA and they're going to, or was it was there a theater involved? Was it?
It was definitely the apartment complex.
So how did they get hundreds of people to align?
I think it was because they said, there was pay. Right? Oops, I hit the mic. I'm so sorry. There's
okay.
pay, but when they
That is
say pay, you
unusual.
got paid anywhere from $5 to $20 a
Right.
show, plus the T-shirts.
Holy
yeah.
ghosts.
Okay,
needed
and they
T-shirts.
had
Yeah.
boxes of T-shirts. So I am pretty sure they had some kind of backing or some kind of funding because, and I remember, well, this was after the people who were running it were a couple.
Okay.
And so it was this ethereal blonde, one of the prettiest girls I'd ever seen in my life, and this very tall.
Hilarious.
Exactly. You look at her and you think
You're like,
you're funny.
funny.
Yes, you are going to be funny. And then her husband, who was very tall and had blonde hair and glasses, and they looked like a very mismatched couple. But yet you were and he was a writer. Although I don't know what happened to him. I've never seen him again. And she was the actor. And when you're in your 20s, and I was like in my late 20s, and they were in their early 20s, and they're married, and they live in this
Yeah,
big
that's
apartment.
weird.
Yeah.
And
Family
you're just
money.
Like, oh my god, you guys are what everybody wants to be.
Right.
You have
Yeah.
central heat and air.
No kidding. In
They had
the
a
early
washer and
20s
dryer
in LA.
in.
They might
Side.
have. They certainly had a dishwasher. I'll tell you that right now.
What?
And she used to like to sit in his lap a lot. And so,
Ew, wow.
so
Ew.
there were lines around the block. You had to do an original thing, you had to do a script, and then you had to do the improv. And I just was like, wow, everybody wants to be part of this group. It must be pretty good. But then they handed me the script. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a lot of work to make this funny. Oh, so I'm going to have to make some real strong committed choices. So,
And it's a sketch they've written. Is that what the audition material is? Okay.
so once you get in, I don't know why you needed to bring anything original or why you needed to improvise, because once you got in, it was just, they had a team of like 4 or 5 writers, and they'd written all the sketches, and they would cast you in them.
Oh, so you're literally being hired as an actor, not a
Correct.
yeah. Okay.
Not a
writer, also
not a creative,
not a troupe
essence.
Yeah. Right.
So I remember that's where I met my boyfriend, whose first name was Tom, last name is deleted.
Okay. Tom deleted.
Tom deleted. Who thought he was funny. He was not, but he thought I was funny, so
Wish you were.
I dated him.
Yes. Right.
That's what matters.
That's all you need.
So I was writing the story about him, which is what triggered this memory. I was writing an essay about that experience, which triggered this essay, because we had to rehearse like 3 nights a week for the whatever amount of money we were, minimum $5, up to $20 that we were going to
Where would
make.
you perform?
Up and down the coast.
But like at a bar or oh really? So it's
Mostly bars. And as you both know, if you've ever seen a sketch comedy show in a bar,
like perfect venue.
fantastic.
Everyone is there to watch sketch comedy by amateurs.
You guys,
That's
as a little aside, we performed in this one bar that was like kind of like a dance club and it had a stage.
Okay.
And so we rehearsed on the stage, and then when the show began, you know, they turned all the lights on and everything, and every time you stepped on the stage, the lights it was like dance disco lights and whatever. Every time you walked across it, and it was
like,
so
and is that
hard.
with every step?
Every
like
step.
Billie Jean, like
Once you
every.
got off the stage,
Yeah.
it wouldn't. It was just when you were on that stage, it would trigger disco.
My God!
Yes.
In a sketch comedy.
during your sketch.
nothing funnier than lights.
Yeah.
Unexpected lights that have nothing to do with anything. That will be distracting.
This next scene takes place in a cave.
This next scene takes place is someone who's buried alive. I mean, so I, as you may not know as well as Danielle knows, I have a lot of opinions about it.
I've seen it a few times.
Yeah, I do remember you seeing it a few times. I was hoping you'd forgotten, but apparently not.
I enjoy it.
Okay. And so I would say, hey, wouldn't this line be better?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that line be better? They didn't like that at all. And so also, there was a scene where I had to audition for, which did not get, where a drunken girl thought a mannequin was a real live male person, and she was trying to flirt with him and get with him. Mm-hmm. And so I sort of went big with that in my audition.
And it's sketch, and it's a preposterous
and it's just me,
scenario.
And I have to convince people I'm drunk enough to realize this isn't a person.
Right.
For 5 minutes,
Right.
this girl doesn't realize, right? Pardon me. And so they said, when I didn't get it, they were like, Alex, you don't have to work so hard. Oh. Just let the words do the work.
Oh my God!
Oh no.
So, okay. So you obviously, so you auditioned out of all these people, you got in.
We
and
got
then-
in. There were about 20 of us got in.
Oh my God, that's a big
Yeah,
shoot.
it was a big cast.
And then once you're in, you have to audition for each. They don't just cast you and
sometimes they'll just cast you, and sometimes they're like, we don't know how to go with this, so we're going to
Okay, and they were just getting to know you guys as performers.
Yeah.
So, okay, all right. And did other actors throughout this, make suggestions of a line here
Not
and there?
many comedy actors got chosen. A lot of dramatic actors.
Oh,
But there were a few.
because they let the words speak for themselves,
That's right,
Alex.
yes.
Why don't you take a cue?
That's right. And also, you can imagine how much laughter there was at every show. Oh, my God. So, but there were a few comedy people, Mike Johnson, historian, being one of them. That's what I call him now, Mike Johnson's, my ex.
Mike Deleted.
Tom Deleted.
Oh, Tom Deleted.
Tom Deleted is...
Mike Johnson.
I now call him Mike Johnson, historian, because I went to SeaWorld one day, and he was in a video.
Oh, right.
Yes.
He was in a video.
He got cast in something.
He got cast in something. He was in a video on a glacier talking about ice core samples, and underneath it said Mike Johnson, historian. And I was like, that isn't Mike Johnson, historian.
That's
That is
Tom
Tom
Deleted.
Deleted,
Oh, okay.
failed actor. And so now every time in my essay I say, I love saying derogative things about Tom Deleted, and that is how I speak of him. But every time I speak of him, but when I speak of him, I call him Mike Johnson, historian. And
Right.
I even changed the name of the essay to Mike Johnson, historian, even though it's not really about that. But so Mike Johnson, historian, thought I was hilarious, so he and I made friends. Carolyn Wilson, I think. I know she was in Swivet. She might have been in JKLA with me. I don't remember, but I made a couple of friends.
Okay.
And then we would sit in the corner and make fun of everybody. And so it was fun for that. And also there was a boy that liked me, so of course I went every...
This is your 20s. This is fun.
That's right. So, I know that I have gotten a couple of talking tos just about, hey, can you not improvise any lines? And I'm not a good, strong improviser, but I can do that within a script.
Yeah.
If somebody messes up, I can improvise and keep it on track. And or if there's a lull or there's just an opportunity.
Yeah,
right.
I'm going to improvise. So they were like, can you just not improvise? Can you not ask? Can you you're being insulting to the writers.
Oh, my God. Stop making it better.
Yeah.
Right.
Just do what's on the page. Eat what's on your plate. And so I did not do any of those things. I kept doing my thing. And so I kept rehearsing with these people. And we would get these jobs in bars. And sometimes it would literally be a corner. Not as big as that, like a corner from like the edge of the table to that corner. And those of you who are listening, that's not very far. How far is it from the corner to the edge of the table? 4 feet? Maybe. It would be a corner of a bar. It wouldn't be a stage.
Right.
And there are no exits and entrances. And of course, there have been a lot of exits and entrances. And plus, you have to find somewhere to change costumes.
Wait, and there's a cast of 20? Or is it not always 20 people?
Not always 20, but usually.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
And so there's no raised stage. You're flat on a corner.
Sometimes you were
Okay.
just in a corner.
All right.
And so, but we would get our, usually, the ones I went to were $20 because, you get a cut of the door maxing out at $20. So, and you would rehearse 3 times a week, and you would go to do your shows, and then you get your little $20 and usually spend it on booze right there and
Yeah,
then.
Sure.
And so, and you had to get your own costumes and props and things just like you do in every sketch comedy show. So I'd rehearsed once the week of the show, and I felt fine about it because, I knew the rest of the stuff. I go down to, and I don't remember where it was, but it was far away. Like it was as far as, let's say, Anaheim that I had to drive to go to this show.
So we're talking 40-minute drive or something.
Almost an hour.
Okay, got
Almost an hour. And I had a bag full of old lady wigs.
As you
beer
do
steins.
when you do
Boas.
sketches, right?
Glasses, various kinds of glasses.
comedic
They
glasses.
change your character. Just take those glasses off, put these on.
Now I'm 80. Now I'm 20.
I show up with this huge bag of stuff, and I'm like, hey, so where are we setting up for the green room or the dressing room or whatever? And they all look at me with these big eyeballs. And I was like, hey, what's going on? So Charlie, I remember his name because that's my father's name and my brother's name. Charlie, the big guy who ran the place with the girlfriend in his lap.
Oh, okay.
He walked
Picturing him running the whole session.
walking over with her on his hip.
Yes.
Like a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, just rocking her gently.
He says, hey, well, thanks for coming. We are, this is how he phrased it. I might be paraphrasing, but we are not inviting you to do the sketches tonight. We have recast them. And we're very, very appreciative of all the work that you've put in. But You will not be going forward with JKLA. And I was like,
Oh my God.
oh, okay. Well, then I'm going to buy a ticket to the show.
To survive being fired. Okay.
Bravo.
I waited. I had to wait. I went to my car. And waited for a
How
little-
long did it take you to make that decision?
I love that that's your immediate response.
I know, because I think
immediate.
you or I would have fled.
I would have been like, goodbye.
Yeah. Goodbye. So,
Well,
okay.
you would have if it had been a good sketch comedy show that you
Yeah.
were involved in and that you were no longer. That would have been sad. But
but it wasn't good. It was just okay. So wait,
I was there because a boy liked me.
I was just gonna say. So I do have a question.
Yeah.
Did John Ronson,
Mike Johnson historian.
Mike Johnson historian? I don't know. Did
was also in
Did
this
Mike
group.
Johnson historian know that you had been fired before?
No,
Oh, so he
they didn't tell any of my 3 little friends.
and I don't want to get ahead of the story.
Yeah.
Do we find out later why they didn't tell you ahead of time?
Oh, they just forgot. There were 20 people in the group, and they were
What,
busy.
but they took the time to recast it,
They're-
and people learned lines.
They were busy recasting it, and
And they
they had
didn't
things
tell you.
to do.
Okay,
Here's the other thing. I'm sure they all thought the other person was going. Like
Right.
Charlie thought cute little ethereal girl was going to tell me.
Right.
And she thought the main writer who wanted me gone was going to tell me,
Okay.
etc.
So you go. I'm sorry. So back to Speed. So you go to your car to put your various wigs and glasses away.
I put everything away,
Okay.
and I go in and sit at the bar and start drinking.
Yes.
And then the show starts, and I go get in line, and I buy my ticket, and you can see they're starting to get really horrified.
that you're saying.
Oh, she's bringing the drama now.
I
And,
love it.
and not only am I staying, but I'm also tipsy
Okay.
on my way to drunk when the show starts.
What happens to you, Alex, when you're tipsy on your way to drunk?
Well, tipsy is fun.
Yeah.
Drunk, no edit button.
Yeah.
No edit button. I have a short fuse, a quick trigger. I did not get mad. Let's be clear. I did not get mad. But I have no edit button. So I just was like, yay, let's do that. And as I was watching it, I was like, oh, this is really bad. This is really bad. It's worse than I thought it was on that side of the table. So I had this thing of going, oh, I'm really glad I don't have to spend more time with this. I'm still dating the boy. It'll be fine.
Right.
He did quit, to his credit.
Like soon after, or right then, or later.
It's the only awesome thing he did.
Okay.
Let's be clear.
Well, and the SeaWorld video.
and he did
two
the
awesome
SeaWorld,
things.
SeaWorld video. Mike Johnson story. So it's mostly me by myself at a little cafe table and a bunch of old dudes. And then there's like a middle-aged couple, my age now then,
Yeah.
sitting behind me. There's a few people. There are fewer people in the audience than there are in the cast.
That's always a good sign.
But there are also people up at the bar.
Okay.
So we're sitting at little cafe tables,
Yeah.
and behind us is the bar. There's also people up at the bar watching occasionally.
Who haven't paid to see the show.
Correct.
So these
but
are like
can see the show.
unsuspecting
Correct.
people who just thought they were going to a bar and now they're getting like visually
A weird
assaulted
sketch-
with
Yeah,
a show they
right.
weren't expecting.
That's correct.
With
and they
that-
also
okay.
didn't pay. Where all the people at the cafe tables have paid. to
Okay.
see it.
Hilarious.
So as I get drunker, then I find it kind of funnier. And I start going like that. And leaning over and going, see, the funny word is masturbation. I'm making that. I don't know what
So
the
you're heckling your own. What
Sort
was
of,
what was
except
an hour ago?
at
Your
first, At first, I'm just talking to the people around me.
Okay.
And then I'm doing things like, get it? You get it? She didn't need to explain it. Way too loudly.
They are so sticking to the writer's vision.
And then I start going, do the one about the adult baby. Right. Which I don't know is even in the lineup. I only knew what I was going to be doing that night. And in the meantime, I'm watching people in this do my role in the sketches I was cast in.
Okay.
And leaning over and saying, that was supposed to be.
It's the most low stakes entertainment story. That's why it's so funny. 'cause
It
it's
is. But there's a lot of shushing. They're shushing around me.
yes.
They're shushing from backstage. They're shushing on stage. People are like trying to hide their shushing. And I would always go, right, shh. Like they were talking to somebody other than me. Shh, you guys. Shh. You're being too loud. You're laughing too loudly. I will say, to their credit, when it was over, they did apologize to me at the end of the night.
Really?
They
Okay.
did, because I think they realized what. And I thought they were coming to call me out on the carpet, so I was just like steeling myself for a fight, because
Yeah.
that's how I get when I'm.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to? Oh, I'm down with that.
Right.
Let's go, because I usually win fights, and so
She does.
and so I was just waiting, and they were like, "We now realize that there was a miscommunication. We're very sorry. You drove all the way down here, etc. We apologize." They didn't give me my $20, obviously, but yeah, my first instinct was, "Oh, I want to see you do this without me. Then let's go."
Right. Yeah, of course that was.
I did not cry. I never cried a day.
Oh, she's a badass.
Well, you knew that. Alex is a badass. Thank you guys.
Yes, I'm so glad that everyone listening to this who doesn't know me is
Yeah.
going to believe you. That's fantastic.
Well, I mean, you are.
All right.
But in any case, and I don't mean that like you're a badass bitch, because I hate people who talk like that to
Right.
each other. But you are a badass bitch.
That's very, very kind.
Anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me.
joining
I'm
us.
honored.
I feel a little bit more. I feel a little better about dealing with fires now,
Yeah.
and about dealing with being fired.
I think we can move through the world much safer.
Yeah. So next time I get fired, I'm gonna start a fire around me,
Burn
blow
it out.
and then dive into the middle of being fired.
Sounds great.
I think that's it, right?
That's the way to do
All right.
it.
Thank you guys. Come back next time for more of How to Survive
How to survive.
with Danielle and
Kristine.
Kristine.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, everybody. We'd love to hear from you on the social media at Pod How to Survive on Twitter and Instagram. And also, you can send us an email, podcasthowtosurvive@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your survival stories or just say hello. All right. Talk to you later.